Hello everyone, Movie Hustler here, and today we are going to be ranking all 24 James Bond movies. This is a big one. I'm going to get right into it, starting with my least favorite. Coming in number 24 is Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace is a mess overall. It has bad directing, bad villain, bad editing, bad action scenes. Guys, it's all trash. Mark Foster directs in a way which is just terrible. The way he puts together scenes, it just disorients you. The action scenes are shaky cam galore. And it was really just not a good movie, guys. Coming in at number 24. Coming in at number 23 is Die Another Day. Die Another Day is kind of the one that's never really liked in the community of James Bond, and I mean, I know there are people who like it, but I personally don't like it. The reason it's better than Quantum of Solace has some cool action scenes, I guess, and while the directing is trash, he can tell the story competently, and I understand it. But the villain is terrible. I mean, this is like the most over the top James Bond movie, and it suffers hard. I mean, it's not a good movie, but I mean, it's fun, it's entertaining, but again, it's not a good movie. Coming in at number 22 is Thunderball. Thunderball isn't a very bad movie. It's just really boring. It's mind-bogglingly boring. Takes you out of the film, it's so boring. The villain is also pretty bad. There's really no characterization given to this character, and it's pretty bland. He's pretty bland, and he's just one of the worst villains. Sean Connery gives a good performance, and Fiona Volpe's very good. And overall, it's kind of a bad movie, but not as terrible as Die Another Day, Quantum of Solace. Coming in at number 21 is The Man with the Golden Gun. My personal least favorite Roger Moore. It's very, how do I say this? It's really uncomfortable. There are scenes in which Roger Moore is hitting women, and it's just really uncomfortable. The third nipple thing on Christopher Lee's villain, by the way, he's great. The Man with the Golden Gun himself, it's a classic villain, and Nick Nack's also a great villain. But yeah, it's just insanely awkward. You can't explain it. You have to watch the movie. But comes number 21. Number 20 is A View to a Kill. This movie's weird. It's really weird. It's weird as hell. I mean, God, I thought number 21 was weird. But the redeeming qualities about this one is it has some really cool villains stand out. Mayday, as her character, is one of the most interesting in the whole series. Max Zorman is butt fucking sane, and Roger Moore is way too old to be in this movie, but I don't mind him. He's fine. He's way too old. He shouldn't have been in this movie. Coming number 19 is Diamonds Are Forever. Diamonds Are Forever is not a bad movie. It's really not. But it shouldn't have been as lighthearted as it should have, or as it was. I mean, this movie should have been the darkest of a series. This came after On Her Majesty's Secret Service, The Death of Tracy. This should have been a revenge movie like License to Kill, but it wasn't. It was campy. I don't mind camp, but not for this movie. It didn't work. Coming in at number 18 is Octopussy. The title of this movie really says it all. It's campy. It's fun. It's just really campy. Roger Moore is fine, and this movie is. The villain's fine. Maud Adams plays the Bond girl pretty well. But there are a lot of cool action scenes in this movie. I mean, a lot of cool ones. There are some standout action scenes in this movie, which is why it comes at number 18. Number 17 is For Your Eyes Only. For Your Eyes Only is bland. It's just bland. It's really mediocre, right? And really, that's kind of all I have to say. Everything's so mediocre. This was a lot lower on this list, but I mean, it has some suspenseful scenes, and Roger Moore's fine. But it's mediocre. Not bad, but it's just fine. Coming in at number 16 is The World Is Not Enough. The World Is Not Enough is a very fun film. It's absurd as it gets, but it's fun. It really is. And it's an enjoyable movie, really, I have to say that. Bernard's villain, not the main villain, but his henchman, it's pretty cool. and badass. I do like the plot twist in this movie, and this movie really shakes up the genre, and I like it just for that. It's not bad, in my opinion. It's fine. Pierce Brosnan's pretty good in it, and yeah, comes number 16. Number 15 is You Only Live Twice. You Only Live Twice is the reveal of Spectre at its fullest. It reveals the first sign of Blofeld, and I think it's a pretty fun film. The action scenes and cinematography is outstanding. Donald Pleasance's Blofeld is really good, but the thing holding this movie back was Sean Connery. His performance is not good in this movie. He's so non-energetic and sporadic as some of his other performances was, which is really a letdown. Because he was just so bored in this movie. He was probably just doing it for the paycheck, But you know what? It's fine. Comes in at number 15. Coming in at number 14 is Moonraker. Let's talk about Moonraker. Moonraker is fun as it gets. It's campy as it gets, but it's fun. A villain, Drax, is one of the best in the series. Jaws in this movie, he's fine, I guess. He's not fine. He's pretty bad in this movie, but you know what? It's campy, and I think if you don't like it, it's fine. This movie's not for everyone, but for me, it's fun, and it has some entertaining scenes, and Roger Moore gives a great performance, and it's number 14, so yeah. Coming in at number 13 is Tomorrow Never Dies. Speaking of entertaining, this is pretty much as entertaining as it gets, Has some standout action scenes, a great villain, played by Jonathan Pryce, and I love this movie. It has some really, really cool action scenes, and it's filled to the brim with them. The villain, again, is great. The Bond girl is pretty cool, and Pierce Brosnan is super slick in this movie, and it comes in at number 13. Coming in at number 12 is the most recent James Bond movie, Spectre. Spectre is pretty good. It was a little disappointing when I first saw it, but it's pretty good. Daniel Craig's performance is great. I love him in this movie. The cinematography and action scenes are so good. So great. I also love the Bond girl played by Léa Seydoux. She was a very, very cool character. The thing that I think everyone will agree is that Blofeld is super bland, and his motivation is not good, but comes at number 12. Coming in at number 11 is Dr. No. Dr. No is a perfectly fun James Bond movie. It's the first. It's very sophisticated. It's great. Sean Connery is good in this movie. I do wish Dr. No was in the movie a little bit more, and it has some iconic scenes. And an iconic Bond girl, played by Ursula Andress. It's a good movie. It's the first. Comes in at number 11. Coming in at number 10 is The Spy Who Loved Me. The Spy Who Loved Me was a breath of fresh air after The Man with the Golden Gun, and is a timeless James Bond adventure. The locations are top-notch. Jaws is one of the coolest henchmen in the whole entire series, and I think the only thing holding this movie down is the villain. But overall, it's a great movie, and I've always loved this, and yeah, it comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is The Living Daylights. The Living Daylights is such a good film, and Timothy Dalton is just the most underrated James Bond actor in the whole franchise. This movie was a little campy, but it was never silly. It was always realistic and gritty, and I like that about this movie. The only thing holding this movie down was the Bond girl, but even the Bond girl is just not that bad. I mean, come on, there have been worse. Coming in at number 8 is GoldenEye, my personal favorite Pierce Brosnan film. GoldenEye is just a great movie. It has a great performance of Pierce Brosnan, has some of the best villains in the whole series, including Sean Bean's 006. You have Xenia Onatopp, she was great. You also have Boris, who is just one of the funniest characters in the whole film. And you have the General in this movie, who is probably the most underrated henchman in the whole series. I love his quips. I love his smile. I love his character. I love the way he reacts to things. Such a good henchman, man. So underrated. But yeah, overall, GoldenEye's a blast. And coming in number 7 is From Russia with Love. From Russia with Love is a classic. Alright, and if you don't like From Russia with Love, well, that's fine. I think the pacing in this movie could be ramped up, and yeah, I think the villain's fine, but overall, this movie is just a classic spy thriller, and it will always be remembered by that. Sean Connery is so good in this movie, and I love the henchman in the form of Red Grant. Red Grant is just one of the coolest characters in the whole series. The stuff on the train is so espionage. It has that Ian Fleming, that suspense. It was all there in From Russia with Love, and I love that. It's so good. Coming in at number 6 is Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die is my personal favorite Roger Moore movie, and it was campy, but it was never silly. I love the villain in this movie, Kananga, who is just good. I love the way he switches emotions. He can be really gritty, he can be really realistic, he could be almost smart, and I love his villain plot too. It was all there from Live and Let Die. It was so good. Roger Moore's performance in this movie was so great. He had this swagger and this badassness that, this is probably my favorite Roger Moore performance, and this is his first movie. So coming in at number 5 is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a classic film, and it will be remembered as just that. The cinematography is breathtaking. Has probably the best Bond girl, played by Diana Rigg, and one of my favorite Blofelds in the form of Telly Savalas, who was not only a physical threat, but was just so good in the movie. He was so there. He had a presence that I feel like Donald Pleasance had more, but Telly Savalas, he had a presence that I think was different, but also good. And the only thing holding this movie back was George Lazenby, who really wasn't that terrible, but he still was not very good. Coming in at number 4 is Goldfinger. Goldfinger's classic Bond. If I were to recommend a James Bond movie to someone that hasn't watched any of the other ones, I'd recommend this one. The villain is great. Perfect character-wise. The way they build this character, so good. Oddjob is one of the best henchmen in the whole series. Easily. He's iconic. He's great. Pussy Galore is a pretty good Bond girl. And this movie also started the cliche James Bond names of the Bond girls. It's great. Sean Connery is awesome, of course. Yeah, it comes in number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Skyfall. There's nothing to say about Skyfall that hasn't really already been said. The cinematography is breathtaking. The cinematography is breathtaking. Jason Silva is one of the best villains in the whole entire series, without a doubt. He was so good, had a presence. And even his introduction was so well done. Daniel Craig is great, and I think M, also in this movie, gives probably her best performance in the James Bond series, and Skyfall was so good, guys. Coming number 2, y'all are gonna hate me. Coming number 2 is License to Kill. Alright, let's talk about License to Kill. License to Kill is gritty. It's realistic. And, I don't think there's a better Timothy Dalton movie. I know he only did 2. Coming number 2 is License to Kill. And you guys are going to hate me for this, but License to Kill was so good. It was so gritty. Timothy Dalton's on his game. It has one of the most underrated Bond girls. And the villain was so good. I love this movie. It had a grit to it. The action scenes were flawless. The cinematography and the locations are great. I love everything about this movie. Coming number 1 is Casino Royale. Casino Royale is perfect. A great villain. Daniel Craig gives his best performance of his whole entire career, and Le Chiffre is one of the best Bond villains. He has a motivation that's great, and you feel for this character. And everything about it, this movie is perfect. Eva Green's Bond girl is one of the best, easily. Top 2. Under Daniel Craig. And the ending is emotional, and it is the birth of James Bond. It's the greatest origin story ever, guys. It's amazing. Comes in at number 1. So do you guys agree with my ranking of the James Bond movies? Well, put your guys' ranking in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. It's a new channel. And see you guys later.